Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4. Huge win for Arsenal. I predicted 2-0, but I never expected to see Arsenal go this and run riot over the Bournemouth side, because at home at least they really look a little bit really serious. And Arsenal have gone ahead to run riot over Bournemouth by 4-0, and Mikel Arteta is now a happy man. Having drawn with Tottenham Hotspur, he has gone ahead to find himself into a position of really getting a win that is really very much convincing. And if at all you watch that game of football, it would have gone ugly to close to 8 goals. But the goalkeeper came to up the rescue, saved close to 2 chances of Emily Smith-Rowe, Jesus 2 chances, and very many others. But Arsenal went ahead to obviously do what we call a very resounding win, and they are obviously launching a bid to obviously chase down City in this trophy, into the Premier League. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. This is the match reaction as we discuss what exactly happened on the field of play as Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 4-0. Bukayo Saka in the 17th minute. It was a very good back post ball delivered by Martin Odegaard and headed towards the goal and denied by the upper post, and then it really ricocheted into the field or into the 6 box area. It found Bukayo Saka unmarked, and Saka headed that ball into the back of the net. Secondly, it was Edin Nketiah who was brought down, a penalty given, and Martin Odegaard took it very well in the 44th minute. Remember, Saka's goal came through in the 14th minute, and 27 minutes later, Arsenal doubled the lead, and they ended the first half by 2-0. Then Kai Havertz saw himself score a penalty, his first ever Arsenal goal in a competitive tournament. Remember, he scored his first Arsenal goal when they are playing a certain Major League Soccer team in the preseason. But Odegaard was brought down in the 18 box area, and the penalty was given to Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz went ahead to score that goal. And I think it's obviously going to be very much important onto the career of Kai Havertz at Arsenal, because it either gives him more confidence or piles more pressure onto him, because coming in as a penalty, one will say, all right, anyone can score a penalty, right? But Arsenal fans will forget that last season, one of the games that really let them off the trophy was that of West Ham. It was 2-1, and Saka got a penalty and missed a penalty. So a penalty has a 100% chance of going in and a 100% chance of not going in. So Kai Havertz scoring his first goal for Arsenal, very well executed penalty. Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Odegaard really had to discuss about who is going to take this penalty. And guess who they gave it? They gave it to the man himself, that is Kai Havertz. And Kai Havertz went ahead to bury that ball into the back of the net to make it 3-0 for Arsenal, meaning that Arsenal got to penalties on the night. Then Benjamin White in the 90th plus 3rd minute, he got a free kick coming in from Odegaard and headed it home to make it 4-0. Arsenal have gone ahead to convincingly win this game of football. They controlled the game and they really bossed the game throughout the entire 90. And Ben White, if I don't remember, he's one of those players that really leveled or made it 2-2 at the Emirates. Remember that very well, that game that ended 3-2? It was a dramatic ending for that game of football, and it ended 3-2 in favor of Arsenal. And Benjamin White has gone ahead to really bury that ball into the back of the net. But I like the way Arteta is proving us wrong. Sometimes when you go ahead and ask yourself, why is he starting Edin Nketiah? Because everyone was asking himself, why is he starting Edin Nketiah when Reece Nelson really had a very huge input into the beautiful game of football that saw Arsenal beat Brentford by 1-0 in the midweek. But today, guys, Edin Nketiah ran the show. He ran the show, and I think he's obviously not going to be hailed enough because he was not on the score sheet. But trust me, he had a lot to offer into this beautiful game of football for Arsenal. And I think he obviously shows us why Arteta is obviously putting him on the field of play. He's increased his intensity, his play with his back to goal, the way he obviously makes those runs on and off the ball. He's really improving. And it shows you exactly how Arteta is improving his skills as the manager on why he's playing Edin Nketiah and Jesus onto the left attacking side of the midfield. And you obviously want to see this happen on several occasions, because when you are obviously going to play Manchester City next Sunday, you need a win like this to jumpstart you into that mode of obviously beating the side of Manchester City. And although City have gone ahead to lose today, that doesn't mean that they are going to lose against Arsenal. So Arsenal have gone ahead to get a very beautiful win, and it's 100% sure that when they stretch to France on Tuesday in the Champions League against RC Rennes, they are going to obviously get in a win, and that win is obviously going to skyrocket them into a mode of facing the side of Manchester City at the Emirates. But players have gone ahead to showcase exactly what Arteta really told them to do. Saliba coming in through and really being solid onto that back line with Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel Magalhaes to me was the best centre back today into that game. I saw him throw his body to really prevent the side of Bournemouth from obviously scoring against Arsenal. He put his body on the line every time he was called in for. Saliba, composed as usual, solid, he really complements Gabriel Magalhaes very well. And it shows you exactly why the manager went ahead to obviously bring these players in to play some bit of football today. So Arsenal have gone ahead to win their, I think it's the fourth game, not so. It's the fourth game. I think it's the fifth game because they've gone ahead to play 7 games this season, not so. Arsenal have gone ahead to play 7 games this season. They've gone ahead to win. They've gone ahead to win their 5th game of the season. They've gone ahead to draw 2, keeping their unbeaten run still up and running. And one will say that it's not all that important, but I think Arsenal, Spurs, and Liverpool are the only teams that have gone ahead not to lose a game this season, because Man City, that had 100% record, has gone ahead to lose against Wolverhampton Wanderers away from home today. The game has ended 2-1 in favor of Wolverhampton Wanderers, meaning that there is only one team that has not played their that has played their 7th game, that has gone ahead to win, that has gone ahead not to lose any game. That is Arsenal. Spurs and Liverpool are really playing today, and I believe that game is going to end in a loss to one of those sides, and it's going to remain either Liverpool or Tottenham and Arsenal being unbeaten this season. But a clean sheet kept away from home. David Raya keeping another clean sheet. Everything came in through at Arsenal. Has only gone ahead to swallow 2 goals against Tottenham Hotspur, but he kept a clean sheet against Everton, against PSV, and now he's back in between the stitches, and he's keeping a clean sheet. And I don't know what really happens at Arsenal when they are playing away from home. There is some huge magic that really comes in through to obviously attack the Arsenal side and obviously embrace them to obviously get clean sheets. Another clean sheet away from home. This is the 3rd Premier League game they are playing away from home, and they are keeping a clean sheet. That shows you exactly how Arsenal really looks when they're defending away from home. Why don't they defend like this when they're at Emirates? I don't know the reason, but maybe they open up a lot and obviously commit a lot into the final third of the pitch, and maybe they leave out spaces for the opponents obviously really see themselves embark on and capitalize on and obviously break them down. Because if I told you a team like Arsenal, there are things you wouldn't like to obviously see happen to your side. If you keep clean sheets away from home, then it would have been easy for you to keep clean sheets at home, because keeping clean sheets away from home is very hard. You are having like just 10% of the fans into that stadium, and you keep yourself really into that position of obviously calling in for your supporters to keep you going and going and going and going. Though I had them a lot screaming Arsenal, 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 but that doesn't play in their favor, because it's always a hard fought spirit for Arsenal players to obviously get this going and running as far as this is really concerned. Now, let's go to the match stats of the day, and we see what is going to happen on the field of play. 8 shots by Bournemouth. Arsenal had 15. 1 shot on target by Bournemouth. It shows you how solid that defense of Arsenal was. Then 8 shots on target by Arsenal, and those 8 shots were really massive and impressive. 42% ball possession by Bournemouth. Arsenal had 58% ball possession. 376 passes completed by Bournemouth. Arsenal completed 536 passes. 80% passing accuracy. Arsenal had 88% passing accuracy. 11 fouls by Bournemouth and 10 fouls by Arsenal. 0 yellow cards to Bournemouth and 1 yellow card to Arsenal. 0 red cards for both sides, 2 offsides to Bournemouth, 0 offsides to Arsenal, 6 corners to both sides on the day, and it shows you how solid Arsenal have gone ahead to be and really close down on the game of City. Now, when you look at Emile Smith-Rowe, he came on through and had 2 huge chances to score, but he was really denied a chance to score by the goalkeeper. But it shows you exactly what he's obviously getting in as a player of Arsenal. He's getting to where Arteta wants him to be. That's why you saw it that he never even brought on. Did even Trossard come on? Let me see. So he never even brought on Leandro Trossard because he knew exactly what Emile Smith-Rowe would feel not getting in minutes in such a game that was done and dusted. Because you all know that at the beginning of the game, Arsenal is going to play in the midweek in the Champions League. Emile Smith-Rowe has no chance of starting. Trossard is going to start, so he had all the chances to come in through and do the job today. And he came in through, played very well. I love that he executed himself, and it shows you exactly how this really goes into favor. Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, all those really played very well. But Odegaard is going ahead to show us that he's really the main man. Out of the 4 goals that Arsenal scored, he was really involved in 3 goals. Scoring 1 as a penalty, creating an assist for the 4th goal, and going in for a long pass to the far post that resulted into the first goal of Arsenal. Odegaard is the magician. People say I just overrate him, but the player is really good and magnificent. And I'll only trade him for Bruno Fernandes, because if I tell you watch the game of United lose today by 1-0, it shows you that we lack that player who can give us what we call maximum control of the game in the central of the midfield, because it's really lacking. It's very, very lacking in Bruno Fernandes, and there are very many ingredients that Martin Odegaard really has that Bruno doesn't have. You know, the way he passes, he doesn't do reckless passing. The way he holds that play, he controls the game and dedicates play. You know, he sets the pace for Arsenal and gets them going every time they really have that ball. And it's really one of those moments that obviously caught my eye into that game, as Odegaard really ran the show into that beautiful game of football. Then the worrying moment is Bukayo Saka, obviously limping off the field of play around the 70th minute, and the manager really took him off. And I ask myself a lot that why does Arteta has to keep this boy onto the field of play when he knows exactly what his problems are? We all know that he's really having what we call a nagging Achilles injury, and he's always kept onto the field a lot when Arsenal have gone ahead to kill off the game. Because when you look at this game of football, Arsenal killed it off in the 53rd minute, and I think they've been wise to get off Bukayo Saka. Why? He had gotten himself a goal, and it was better to take him off. But if you really take Bukayo Saka off around the 76th minute, 21 minutes later, after Arsenal controlling the game, does that make sense? Does that make sense? And he's an injury-prone player, and you wouldn't like to see him really keep up onto the pitch when Arsenal is obviously having a job to play in the middle of the week. Take him off the field of play because he was injured and he came off limping. Why would you allow him to limp like that? I think some player management skills need to be applied for this man, that is Bukayo Saka, from his manager, that is Mikel Arteta, and it does not look good. That's why you saw it that an ex-player known as Mikel Sylvester came off and obviously told him that please manage this player better. You should manage his minutes. I see no reason as to why he wants to keep Bukayo Saka on the field of play forever. Like today, when Arsenal have gone ahead to really lead the game comfortably, and he had a chance to rest him for like 40 minutes and he couldn't. So guys, let's go to the Premier League table and see how it's looking and see how Arsenal have gone ahead to close in on Manchester City. The table looks as follows. Man City has played 7 games, won 6, drawn 0 games, and lost 1 game. They've gone ahead to score 17, conceded 5, and they're having a goal difference of 12. They're having 18 points. Arsenal having 7 points, right? And 5 wins, 2 draws, and 0 losses. That is Arsenal for you. 15 goals scored, 6 conceded, goal difference of 9, and it's 17, right? Those are 17 points. Liverpool seated third. They have a game in hand. If at all they go ahead and obviously win it, they'll find themselves in a position of topping the table for the very first time in a very long time. That is the side of Liverpool, meaning that if at all they win today against Spurs, they'll be at 19 points. And Spurs have 14, Aston Villa have 15, Brighton have 15. Remember, Brighton also lost horribly today. Man United has 9, in 7 games played, still seated on the 10th position. So that's what the Premier League table is all about. But Arsenal are obviously doing their required job to close down on City, and City have gone ahead to lose. And that means if Arsenal plays City next Sunday and win, Arsenal will really be some 2 points ahead of City. And it shows you how things can drastically change in the season, that Wolverhampton Wanderers really went ahead to stop City. And this is the effect of the injuries, because City is having very many injuries. Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, who else? There is another one. There are like 4 players injured, and 1 player is suspended. That is Rodri, and he's still serving his punishment until he gets done with the game of Arsenal. So guys, your reaction to Bournemouth 0, Arsenal 4 are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David remains my name. We thank God for the gift of life. Thank you for keeping it this channel. I sign out for now. See you later when we return with the player ratings of this beautiful game of football that Arsenal have gone ahead to win comfortably. I'm out.